You know that feeling when you try out a new hobby and it just works out on the first attempt? Me neither. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my creative corner. I do need to clean this up since we're going to need quite a bit of space for today's video. It's been a while since the last vlog. I've had a bit of a YouTube burnout phase because social media is fun, but it's all good. I took a break and now we're back at it. Today I will be trying block printing for the first time. I did some research and I got myself some supplies. I'm gonna link everything under this video in case any of you guys is interested. Basically the way it goes, you get yourself a block of rubber and after you draw your design on it, you use special carving tools to carve it out. Everything that you remove from the surface is going to be a negative space in your design. And everything that's left is going to be covered in paint and will leave an imprint on paper or fabric or whatever you're printing on. It sounds easy, but it does break my brain a little bit, and later you will understand what I mean. You might be wondering, Daria, why on earth would you even get started with that? Good question, thanks for asking. The thing is, I'm about to open an online store selling goodies with my art on it. Think art prints, greeting cards, bags, etc. And since I was lucky to have been born with the I can do it better myself gene, here we are. Because why would you get a tote bag printed for 20 euros if you can buy 100 euro worth of supplies and spend countless hours at home figuring it out through the process of trial and error? Anyways, on this bright note, I'd say we get started. By the way, my online store is already live. I've been planning it for many years and I'm really excited about it. So if you're interested in some art goodies, make sure to come by. The link is on the screen and in the video description. Now here comes a slightly tricky part, because I somehow need to mark for myself for later the parts of the design that need to be carved out. And the easiest way to do so is to fill them in with black paint, because later when I transfer my design onto the rubber block, I will simply carve out all elements that are black. Easy. Except it's not. My duck, for example, needs to be white in the final design. So for now, I need to actually fill it in with black color, so that later I carve out the whole surface. My star, on the other hand, will be black in the end, so I actually need to leave the whole surface untouched and only carve out the silhouette. So yeah, it is a bit mind-breaking. So there are different ways you can transfer your design onto the rubber block. First of all, you can just freehand it using a pencil or a pen. You could also print it out and use rubbing alcohol to transfer the ink. But since I happen to own a Cricut maker, I'm going to cut out a stencil and fill it in by hand. I hope it doesn't only work in my head. So the design is now ready. I inverted it, and now I'm going to go to the Cricut design space and set up my Cricut maker. If everything works like I imagine it to work, I'm going to cut out stencils for the most general shapes in my design, so letters, the duck, the stars, and I'm going to align them on the rubber stamp and trace the outlines. So the cut just finished. It went quite well. I used some old cardstock, but then I realized it would have been actually smarter to use some sticker paper, since then I can attach the design to the rubber block, and it's going to be quite handy later when I need to trace it. So I'm going to repeat everything from the start. I do have some sticker paper that I need to use up anyway, so it's fine. I just realized something. I was this close to ruining the whole rubber block. So when you use the other transfer method, you actually flip the paper onto the rubber block and the design gets transferred in a mirrored way, so that later when you stamp, it looks correct. In my case, however, the way I did it now, the final design would have come out flipped. So the whole rubber block would have been unusable. So yeah, now I need to redo everything again. Good morning and welcome to day 3 of this adventure. Yesterday I managed to carve out the whole area of the duck, so now I still have the letters left. The duck alone took probably like 1.5 hours to carve out. Who would have thought that if you make a stamp this big, it's going to take forever, huh? Anyways, today is the day because I hope to finally finish carving the block and try printing on the tote bag. My back is really killing me because when carving, you need to go into the shrimp mode. In the beginning, you can kind of see where you need to carve because the whole area is covered in black paint, but then after some time, you can't see anything anymore. So I'm really hunching down and trying to not cut away something that is supposed to be there. So a little update. After I applied the paint, I could see the parts that still need to be carved away, so I did that. Now I have paint all over my desk, hands, my cardigan. So I gave the stamp a little wash with soapy water just to get off the paint stains where they're not supposed to be. And now I'm going to reapply the paint and try again. I moved to the living room because my husband is in some calls right now. I'm starting to realize that I didn't make my life easier for myself. First of all, it would have been much smarter to go for a smaller block in the beginning. It would have been easier to have more elements in the design that are completely filled with color rather than being just outlines. The thing is, when I have an area which is just an outline, for example, like the dog's body, I need to carve out the whole inside of it. And later, when I put the block onto the fabric and apply pressure, the carved out part sort of sinks in. And if I get some paint onto the inner parts that are not supposed to be covered in paint, I still risk getting some marks onto the fabric. So I need to be really careful when I apply paint. And I think because of it, I don't get enough paint onto the block, which results in some areas of the design being sort of slightly faded. I don't really know how to fix this problem other than try and apply more paint coats, and I'm going to try that with the third and last tote bag that I have. Otherwise, I could just fix this one with a little brush and fill in all the gaps manually. If you guys have any tips for me, please drop them in the comments below. I think overall the second print went much better than the first one. I'm actually really happy with how the bag turned out. I don't mind that it has all the little imperfections because it's supposed to look handmade, and I actually really love the texture of the faded areas, like for example here in the top letters. It's kind of what I always try to reach with my brushes when I draw in Procreate. I think for the first attempt it's a pretty decent job. What do you guys say? To summarize, the learning curve has been steep. All in all, it's a 10 out of 10 experience, very fun. It is very fulfilling to see your designs on physical products. It is quite unforgiving though, because usually you only have one try to get it right. I do plan to print some t-shirts as well, so there will probably be another video like this one coming out soon. You might want to subscribe to the channel to not miss it. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.